Let's bring in senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky and former chief minority counsel for the U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, Jeff Robbins, for more on this. Aaron, this special grand jury doesn't have the power to charge anyone. So what's the point of today's testimony, and what is Giuliani expected to say?
They're the investigative body here, Diane, so they're the ones that are hearing witness testimony. They're reviewing evidence to see whether criminal charges are perhaps warranted. And then another grand jury would have to be impaneled to actually vote on an indictment. But Giuliani can expect a number of questions about his efforts to overturn the Georgia vote and the evidence that he never turned over, despite making claims about suitcases full of ballots or voting machine irregularities. There are a number of questions that the grand jury might have about his relationship with former President Trump, although Giuliani has already said he's not going to answer questions about the former president because those conversations would be subject to the attorney-client privilege.
Now, Giuliani's lawyers say he's a target of this investigation. From a legal standpoint, what kind of significance does that have?
Well, it means he could be indicted. He could face criminal charges. Now, what would he be charged with? We don't know, but the Fulton County District Attorney has said that she's considering things like conspiracy or racketeering, suggesting that she may come to believe that the entire enterprise around the former president to try and overturn the vote was corrupt and meant to do things in violation of the law to perhaps mess with the vote so that the former president could retain office. But again, as Steve Osunsami noted, Diane, we're a ways from any conclusions.
So, Jeff, do you expect that Giuliani will face charges, or anyone else from Trump's inner circle here?
I think he will face charges, having been termed a target. He is likely to face charges. He is in a bad way, and I would not expect him to be making many statements in response to questions. I'd expect him, in connection with today's quote-unquote testimony, to be invoking the attorney-client privilege, to be invoking his Fifth Amendment privilege, to be invoking any privilege that he can think of which permits him to avoid answering questions. He's in such jeopardy at this point that the last thing he wants to do is either A, provide truthful testimony, which hurts him, or B, provide false testimony, which then subjects him to perjury charges. So I would expect him to be charged, and I would expect him to not assist prosecutors today and to not assist them by refusing to answer questions on one basis or another.
Now, Aaron, at an event in New Hampshire today, former Vice President Mike Pence said he would consider testifying before the January 6th committee if he was called upon. So what kind of an impact could that have on the investigation?
We know the committee has been negotiating with Pence's lawyers for months to try to secure an appearance for the former vice president before the committee. They have already laid out where Vice President Pence was, what he was doing, in contrast to, say, what the former president was not doing, ordering the National Guard, being in real command and control of the situation from an underground parking garage in the Capitol. And I think the committee would like to hear from him directly. During an event at St. Anselm College, Politics and Eggs breakfast, he said he would consider an invitation if it comes, but he also noted, Diane, that as the vice president, it would be unusual for him to be called to testify before Congress. So we're not sure that he would accept, but he at least said today that he would consider it.
And, Jeff, tomorrow a judge will hold a hearing on whether or not to unseal that affidavit for the Mar-a-Lago search. Trump is calling for its release. The Justice Department says that could compromise its investigation. So how likely is it, do you think, for the judge to side with the government in a case like this with such sensitive material?
I think, as Terry pointed out, it's highly likely that the judge will side with the Department of Justice. Ironically, the Department of Justice and Mr. Trump believe that the same thing will occur if the affidavit is released. They both believe that the investigation will be impeded. They both believe that sources will be compromised. And that is why the Trump team wants the affidavit to be disclosed. And that's why the Department of Justice wants it not to be disclosed. My bet is that it will not be disclosed exactly for the reasons that Terry pointed out.
All right, Aaron Katersky, Jeffrey Robbins, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.